Today I want to do a series of exercises with my favourite piece of equipment, which is the softball. It's a very versatile piece of equipment. It can make things easier or it can make things harder. We're going to do a series of exercises that are a variety of levels, going from level 1 through to level 3. And as we progress through, you'll feel that those exercises are getting harder and you need to work those tummy muscles that little bit more. So we're going to start off lying down on our back. So our first exercise we're going to do is going to be the shoulder bridge. So the shoulder bridge is the perfect exercise to incorporate the red ball between the knees. We'll just take the towel out from under our head just to protect our neck position, hands down by our side. So that addition of the red ball into the shoulder bridge just helps you work those glute muscles a little bit more. So breath in to prepare, flatten your back and peel up into that shoulder bridge. Breath in to hold at the top and then back down. Good. And then go again. So as you come up into that shoulder bridge, you can really feel that you're working those muscles a little bit harder. So you really want to concentrate on taking those vertebrae down from the ribs and peeling those vertebrae up from the bottom. Good. One more. A nice little adaptation you can do then to make those glutes work that little bit harder is to come into that shoulder bridge, put those hands on those hip creases at the front of the hip there, and then just let those hips go down towards the mat and then come back up again. So you let those legs go, those hips come down, and then as you're coming back up, you really feel those glutes just kicking in to bring you to that start position again. Good. So keep going with these and you can really feel those glutes starting to burn. Let's do 3 more. 2 and 1. Fantastic. Come back out of that shoulder bridge and take your knees to your chest. So just place the towel back underneath our head, drop the ball down then, and put the ball underneath both feet. Feet and knees together. And we're just going to roll that ball away, keeping those tummy muscles working, keeping that back nice and still, till our knees are straight, and then fold back in. Good. So you just have the balls of the feet on the ball, and then as you push away, the heels end up on the ball. Good. And then it's really nice to add the arms into this exercise. So thinking now about those ribs. So keep those ribs down as you take those arms overhead and then come back. Ribs down, arms overhead and back. Good. So you get that lovely connection down through the ribs, through the tummy to the pelvis. Two more. So leave the legs out straight there, bring the arms down by your side, and you can put them onto the pelvis there. We're going to lift our right foot off the ball, keep the left leg on the ball nice and straight, and keep that left leg strong with the glutes working at the back and the quadriceps working at the front. Slide that foot away a little bit so you've got a little bit more openness through the hip. Hands on those tummy muscles and then take that right knee out to the side and come back in. So it's a lovely hip opener. So you're coming out on the out breath and you're coming back on the in-breath. You're keeping that other leg nice and strong. You're keeping your ribs down. And you're really thinking about those tummy muscles, and those hands on the tummy just give that extra bit of feedback to keep the pelvis nice and still. We'll do 2 more. Good. So we're going to swap the feet over now. So take one leg off the ball, find the ball with the other foot, and then we want a nice strong leg through this right side. So slide that foot away a tiny bit, so open up through that hip, and then you're going to take that left knee out to the side, keeping that pelvis nice and still. Out on the out breath, back on the in. And it's such a lovely hip opener, really thinking about keeping those ribs down, keep that nice connection through the body. And this is a great preparation for our side series that we'll be doing in a moment. Last one. Perfect. Okay, so we can then bring our ball up to our hands. So the ball in the hands, we can do some shoulder blade isolations. So you've got your feet hip width apart. You bring the arms above your head and then just roll that right hand up the ball, bringing that shoulder blade round the chest wall and then back, and then the left, and then back. So you're just reaching forward with the hand, those fingertips coming up to the ceiling. One more either side. Good. And then you can also use the ball to come overhead. Now I'm really thinking about those rib cages. So bring the ball overhead, keep those ribs down, and then back to the top. Ball overhead, and back to the top. Good. So you just got some gentle pressure through the ball then, and then back. Two more. Good. So we can then make things much harder in our double tabletop using the soft ball. So we pop the ball then underneath our low back and pelvis. It feels quite comfortable, but then as soon as we come into our double tabletop, we're really challenging our stability. So if you think that might be a little bit difficult, then you can come into single tabletop and push away into your one leg stretch, doing both sides. However, the double tabletop with the soft ball is a challenge, but it's a really nice exercise. So taking that right leg into tabletop and then just imprinting those ribs, take that left leg into your tabletop position. And then we're going to come into our one leg stretch. So you push away and fold back in. Push away, fold back in. So it's a really nice exercise. It's a challenge for the balance. So you're breathing out as you push away, breathing in as you come back. Let's do two more each side. Good. Okay, so we're keeping our balance there. We're going to take our arms above our heads as well. So more challenge. And then we're going to do opposite arm to leg. So let's take our right arm overhead and take our left leg out. And then fold back in. And then the other side. So this is a really good challenge now for the abs to keep that control through the tummy. And it's also a challenge for the balance. So you might need to find a little point on the ceiling just to concentrate on to keep that balance. And really concentrate on that breathing, with the stretch away being the out breath and the bringing back being the in breath. Let's do 2 more each side. Okay, so then take the knees to the chest. Because using the hip flexors quite a lot on that one leg stretch, you might find they feel quite tight. So the softball's really good at helping you stretch out those hip flexors. So you hold on to that left knee and then you slide that right leg out and take that foot down to the floor, and you can just hover it a couple of inches away from the floor, and you'll feel a nice stretch through the front of that hip. And then you can come back, swap over, take that other side out, keeping that balance, keeping that heel just above the floor, and you're stretching the front of that left hip. Good. Another way of stretching through the fronts of the hip is just to come off the ball and stretch forward, opening through the front of the thighs there. So we can move the ball out now and come back down. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to come into our side series now, and that's where the red ball really comes into its own as an extra challenge to our side series exercises. So we'll start off by putting the ball between the feet, and that's going to add an extra challenge to our clam. So we'll have our feet, bums, shoulders all lined up against the back of the mat, little gap into your waist, and you have your hand on the hip. So the feet are, the bottom foot's on the floor here, and you really want to focus your mind on those muscles just behind the hip there, and make sure those are the ones that are helping to lift that knee up. So breath in to prepare. You're going to lift that top leg up and then back down. Really thinking about those muscles at the back. You've got that extra challenge with the ball because the feet are on a wobbly surface. Good. So we'll do 10. So we'll call that 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. So let's lift those feet up into that level 2 position. You want to maintain that little gap into your waist. And let's go again into that clam. Again, let's really focus the muscles at the back of the hip and really make them do that lift. That's their job. Good. Keep going. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Rest those hands down. And then we're going to stretch those feet out. So the ball's between the feet. You might need to reposition for it to feel a little bit more stable. And you've got that lovely elongation through the whole body. You've still got that gap under your waist. Hand down for balance. And we're going to lift and lower now. Double leg lift and lower. So breath in to prepare, lift, and back down. So the trunk stays perfectly still. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. And then we can put both feet on the ball. So you have your bottom foot resting on the ball and your top foot on the bottom foot. This lifts the knees off the mat and it gives you that extra balance challenge. So in this position, we can do our lift and lower. So keeping that bottom leg nice and straight, can lift up and back down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Okay, so then grab that ball and then bring it up to the top of the mat. We're going to rest our top knee on the ball. So the ball is on the mat, the top knee is on the ball, and that bottom leg is straightened out. You've got that little gap under your waist there, hand down for balance, or hand on the hip. We're going to lift and lower with the lower leg. So breath in to prepare, lift, back down. 1, 2. So we're really thinking now of that inner thigh doing the work. So make that inner thigh, lift that leg. Good. This is a nice one, worth doing a few more than 10. So do last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. So then just take that top foot behind the bottom knee, so you're still resting that top knee on the ball, still got that little gap under your waist. And then we're just going to lift that top knee, keeping those hips stacked off that ball. So we lift up and back down. Good. So this is quite a tricky one. So you've really got to think about keeping that pelvis nice and still. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Lovely. Okay, so just bend the knees then and give those hips a bit of a rub. Okay, so we can use the ball a little bit in our arm openings as well. So you can just squish your towel up, bring your arms through. So we can just roll the top hand over the ball, so we're reaching forward, and then roll it back, take the ball with you, and then come into that lovely arm opening stretch, and then back. So roll, and then come back, and then over the top. Nice. So just remembering to keep those knees on the floor, those knees and those hips stacked, and all the movements coming through that mid-back. We'll make this one the last one. Lovely. Okay, so let's come then onto the other side. So just take your towel to the opposite side of the mat. Come back down into that clam start position and grab the ball and pop the ball between your feet. Okay, so you've got that lovely feet, bum, shoulders all lined up against the back of the mat. Find that lovely start position with the pelvis, and then we're going to go into our level 1 clam. So just lifting that top knee and back down. Really concentrating on that muscle just behind that hip bone. Focus your mind on that muscle, and you'll feel that that starts to do some work. And that's the muscle that's needed to lift that knee up out to the side. Just thinking about that breathing, the out breath as you lift up, the in breath as you come back down. Good. Last 2. Brilliant. So then we're going to lift those feet up into that level 2 position, maintain that nice gap underneath the waist there, and then lift and lower. Again, concentrate on those muscles at the back. Good. 9 and 10. Good. So then stretch those legs out, and we're going to just rearrange the ball, make sure that it's nice and secure between those feet, little gap under your waist there, and we're going to double leg lift and lower. Okay, keep those tummy muscles working, breath in to prepare, and then lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. So then rest the bottom foot on top of the ball, and then rest the top foot on the bottom foot. And gives you a little bit of an unstable base because it lifts those knees off the mat. We're going to do our lift and lower. So up and back down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Grab the ball, and then we're going to pop it underneath our top knee. Little gap under the waist there, hand down for balance. And we're going to lift and lower with that lower leg. So lifting up and back down. Up on the out breath, down on the in. Maintaining that little gap under your waist. Good. This is a nice one to do 15, I think. So last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Okay, so then take that top foot behind the bottom knee, still that little gap under your waist, and lift that top knee off the ball. So we're going to keep those hips nice and stacked. So breath in to prepare, and lift, and back down. 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. So bend both knees. We're going to squish our towel up there, and then we're going to use our ball for our arm openings. So we're just reaching forward, coming forward at the shoulder, and then back and up and over the top. Good. And then back, roll, and come back and open. So we're really thinking here about those hips staying nice and stacked, and those knees staying nice and stacked, and the knees staying on the mat. And just enjoying that stretch. So let's do this last one. And then back. Good. So we're going to move on to our tummy now. Pop the ball between the feet. Turn onto your tummy and rest your forehead on the towel. We're just going to rest the hands there, either side, by the head, resting on the floor. We're going to grip the ball with the heels, and we're going to just tuck that tailbone under, and we're going to bend the knees, and this is now working the outside of the hips. So you've got to work quite hard to control that ball. So you've got your heels digging into the ball, and you're feeling the work on the outside of the hip. So you've got to keep thinking about keeping that those tummy muscles working, so that you don't arch the back as you're lifting those feet. Good. So keep going. Let's do the last 4. 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. Okay. Okay, so let's come up then into 4-point kneeling. Let's have a nice shell stretch, so arch the back, drop back onto the heels and reach forward. And then let's come up into sitting and let's do a mermaid stretch. So we'll get our ball back. We can be in our mermaid position like this, or we can be in our traditional mermaid position like this. We can have the ball on this side and slide away, but I prefer this side where we get a lovely stretch through the side of the body. So we're going to take that arm up, the other arm slides away on the ball. Nice. And back. Good. So come up and slide away. Good. One more. Up and slide away. So let's swap the legs over, back into that lovely mermaid position, and have the ball on the other side. Up nice and tall. And we're thinking about those sitting bones, keeping on both sitting bones. So we're going to take that arm up and then over the top, slide away on the ball. Good. And then back down. And then go again. And then slide away. And good. And then last one, up and slide away. Fantastic. And back down. So there you are, a half an hour of exercises using the softball with the adaptations through our normal lying on our back, lying on the side and coming onto our tummy.